I came across this short story the other day, and it really stuck with me. It's got such a powerful lesson about the work we actually see and all the crucial, often invisible work that we don't. So let's just dive right in. Okay, so the piece we're drawing from today opens with this really provocative line. This story is a blessing for men. A blessing? I mean, that's a pretty bold way to frame it, right? It definitely makes you wonder, what's the story and why on earth is it a blessing? All right, let's set the scene. It all starts with something that probably sounds pretty familiar to a lot of people, a husband coming home from a long day at the office. But this evening, well, this evening was not going to be like the others. So he walks in the door expecting, the usual calm of home. But instead, he's hit with just absolute chaos. The house is a total and complete mess. And right away, you can imagine his internal alarm bells just start screaming. And I mean, just look at the scene he's walking into. The kids are still in their pajamas, playing outside. There are toys and clothes just everywhere. They're on the sofas, on the chairs, and get this, that wet towel he just kind of dropped on the bed in the morning, yep, it's still right there. So he walks into the kitchen, probably hoping it's a little better in there, but nope, it's even worse. The sink is literally overflowing with dirty dishes, the bathroom's a wreck, and this might be the biggest shock for him. There's no dinner being made. So at this point, you can just feel his mood shifting, right? That initial shock and confusion starts to curdle. First it's concern, but that concern very quickly sours into frustration and then just pure anger. And his mind immediately jumps to the worst case scenario. Where's my wife? She must be sick. She has to be really, really sick. I mean, in his mind, what else could possibly explain this level of chaos? So he's rushing around the house, his heart's probably pounding, expecting to find her collapsed or something awful. But that's not what he finds, not at all. He finds her in their room, and she seems perfectly fine. In fact, she's just sitting there calmly reading a book. The difference between the messy house and her quiet calm is just jarring. And that's when he just snaps. The frustration, the worry, it all just boils over. He yells at her, "The house is a wreck and you're just sitting here reading a book?" He just cannot wrap his head around what is going on. Now, you'd probably expect a fight to break out here, right? But her reaction is not what he's expecting. And her calm response, well, that's the exact moment the whole story just turns on a dime. She just looks up from her book, she smiles, and she says something that gets right to the very heart of everything. She says, "You know how you often ask me what exactly it is that I do all day to be so tired?" And she basically lays it out like this, a tale of two different jobs. Think about it. His work, he gets a salary for it. He gets holidays. Her work, she gets no pay. She gets 0 days off. Her job never, ever stops. And then she delivers this absolutely killer punchline. She says, "You always ask what I do. Well, today, I did nothing." And just like that, it all clicks. The mess he walked into wasn't a sign that she was lazy. No, it was the physical proof of all the invisible work she does every single day. So, of course, this story is about so much more than just this one couple. It's really this powerful metaphor for a much bigger idea, right? It's about seeing and appreciating the constant, nonstop effort that so often goes completely unnoticed. And that brings us right back to that original question, what does she do all day? But now, the story is turning that question on all of us. It's challenging the entire assumption behind asking it in the first place. And it's showing us that this invisible work, man, it's not just happening, it's absolutely essential. And that really leaves us with one big question to think about. What this story shows so brilliantly is that sometimes the only way to truly see all the work someone does is to see what happens when they simply don't do it. So it makes you wonder, what is the real value of all the invisible labor that holds our own worlds together? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.